Okay, so hello to the British business community. I'm Norriss, and I am a BBG member, and I have been for a year now. And I'm here with John, the chairman of the BBG Dubai and Northern Emirates, and we were just discussing a bit more about what the BBG does for the business community, for the British business community in Dubai and the Northern Emirates. And you've got quite a story in terms of why you got involved in the BBG in the first place, and where that came from. So why don't you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure, Paris. Well, thanks very much for the opportunity, and it's been great to have you as a member over the last year or so, joining our other 700 company members in the Dubai and Northern Emirates part of the British Business Group. I originally came to Dubai with my young family, as they were at the time, in 1998, so 22 years actually. Wow. Next month. And I was coming over here with a British business to open a foreign branch for them. So I didn't have a network, and I needed to find that network. And one of the best things that happened, I suppose, in those early months, Paris, was I was at one of these cocktail parties, typical, Brits at the British Embassy, which was marvellous. Mm-hmm. And someone said to me, a lawyer that I met there, said, "John, what you should do is join the BBG." I thought, the BB what? What is this? It's the British Business Group, Dubai and Northern Emirates, and you'll be able to find your network to help you with establishing this branch of a foreign company at that time. And that's exactly what the BBG delivered to me, a network of lawyers, accountants, recruitment agencies, so I could attract and retain staff, and enabled me to establish that business back then.
Fantastic. And so, I mean, that was 20 years ago, but how are things now developing? Where is it today, and how has it changed just in the last few years?
Well, it's an interesting one because, I'm often asked that question, and when I joined as member 400 or whatever it was, and I particularly wanted to find the business network, which I did. And people joining today, member 700, joining this week or whatever the number is, wants exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. But a fundamental difference, I think, over the years, and particularly over the last 2 or 3 years, is the development of our collaborative partnerships with both local and federal government here, mm-hmm. but particularly with UK government.
Right.
We're particularly proud and honoured, really, to be based within the grounds of the British Embassy in Dubai. So the strength of our relationship with HNG or UK government is very, very strong.
So, and that's one of the things I've noticed is I think increasingly the connection between business and government has become more and more important, especially in the times we're in now with COVID-19. And if you're a British business abroad, you needed to know, you needed direction, and you needed it from your home country, and you needed it locally. And I think I listened a lot to the newsletters coming out from the BBG because they seem to be very in tune directly from the governments. And would you say that's sort of a key focus now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the relationship between the public and private sector has always been good in the UAE, and since the formation of the union, the Brits have always been part of that. Mm-hmm. But it's all about collaboration these days, and particularly during these times. I mean, it's not necessarily assisting our members traditionally with business opportunities. It's helping them from a socio-economic perspective. Companies that might be in difficulty, and others that we speak to on a daily basis, which is, I was saying to you earlier, rather humbling, the number of companies and individuals that are prepared to assist others. Mm-hmm. But the dialogue between local and federal government, UK government and the private sector, I've never seen so strong. Right. And it's very, very impressive, and particularly during this time of crisis. Yeah. A good example would be we're part of and leading a multi-nation task force initiative, which is over 20 of the business councils and groups across the UAE, collectively representing about 6,500 companies, are being invited at a very senior level to up the value chain, so to speak, with government, UK government and local government, for government to understand what measures need to be put in place for the business community. So there's a real voice of the business community, which BBG is a leading part of.
Fantastic. And you have a very valuable asset of leading businesses in Dubai and Northern Emirates, and that's incredibly valuable to your sponsors. But how specifically do you help sponsors connect with those businesses?
I rather talk about sort of partners, rather than sponsor, and just because we are in partnership with them, and we have our 4 main sponsors. We have a number of event sponsors, specific event sponsors and partners, etc. Our main sponsors, Jumeirah Group, Emirates Airline, HSBC, and Motivate Media Group, are hugely valuable to us, and they've been with us for 10 years. But it needs to be valuable to them too.
Yes.
And here are we at the Capital Club, and I recall you coming along to one of your first events here.
Absolutely, that was and that was key for me. I think that was when I had just joined. You hosted an event with the UK Commissioner for Dubai Expo.
That's right.
And
yeah,
that was
Laura Faulkner.
At Laura Faulkner,
Yeah.
that's right. And it was very helpful in the sense that it was it wasn't networking.
No.
It was direct connection, and they needed us as much as we needed them. As much as we were all trying to be part of Expo, we really need to be very focused on the pavilions that from our home country, and how we can help them on the ground here. So that was incredibly helpful.
Well, I'm pleased you found it useful. It was certainly a really interesting one for us, because it was at the time last year when Intersect, the big international security exhibition, was on. So there was a visiting trade delegation from the UK, because we assist, again, through Department for International Trade. We work with them and the Chambers of Commerce in the UK. We help these trade missions come over. But that particular one was for the security industry. And there were very specific connections made at that event. But I suppose back to the point of raising that one in particular, were some of our vital sponsors or partners have access to those, not just our databases, not just names and numbers. Our partners have access to a very broad spectrum of individuals and companies through the association with BBG, not just our members.
That's what I found fantastic with the BBG, is everybody knows and asks, how is business, what am I working on? And when I tell them about new projects I'm working on, they know what the other businesses are doing and what they're working on, and connect those dots, which is really, it's almost like speed networking, but being done for you, So
it's absolutely key, and that's part of our DNA. When I talk about our board, our business team, but our membership base, we all want to know exactly what everyone else is doing to see where we can connect. Otherwise, it's networking for networking's sake. As a membership organisation, the commodity that we're after is people's time, and that time has to be valuably filled. So not just networking for networking's sake, but putting connections together for real business opportunities, which is a key tenet of our value proposition.
Well, it's certainly a valuable asset for the business community at large, but also for the British businesses here. It's been incredibly useful to me. If anybody out there would like to get in touch with BBG, how do they go about doing that?
Well, directly to the website bbgdubai.org.
Okay.
And all the connections will be there. But any Brit you speak to in Dubai will know the BBG and be able to signpost you. But we're here to engage.
And you're active on LinkedIn and social media as well, BBG Dubai?
All platforms, and LinkedIn in particular. Yes.
Super. Well, thank you very much, John. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks very much, Paris.
Thank you.